Kizza Besigye for whatever he has done all these years. My question is, for him, who is he seeing who can at least come into his position? Because I thought that in the first place it will take to come, but ever since the spring, does he have like any success he sees around Kamba Christopher Ruzira?
All right, Christopher. Spectrum, hello.
Good evening, Edmond.
Good evening, your name?
Yeah, Jim is the name. Thanks for hosting my president. Very briefly, I just want to thank him for the efforts he has shown Ugandans. But I also want to give him some tips. There is one book titled From Dictatorship to Democracy, authored by one gentleman called Jean, under the Einstein Airbus Foundation. It has got about 119 methods in which the civilian public can resist an authoritarian regime like we have today. 119 methods, very peaceful, Mahatma Gandhi style. If we can adopt those ones, the dictatorship will come on its knees. Good evening, sir.
Political activism there. Spectrum, hello. Hello.
Hello.
Your name, my friend?
Peter, calling in from Entebbe.
Come again?
I just wanted to know, given that Uganda has problems that are there for all to see, if suddenly President Museveni realized that he needs genuine developmental Ugandans like Kizza Besigye, who is definitely better than any of the other people in the Soviets in the NRM. If Museveni suddenly asked you to work with him, would you work with him? That's what I wanted to know. Thank you.
All right. Spectrum, hello.
Hello, Edmond.
Yes.
Yeah, good evening to you.
Good evening, your name?
And good evening to Kana too.
Yeah, good evening.
Hello?
Your name, sir?
Hello?
Your name, we can hear you.
Yes.
Your name?
To me, I'm called George.
Just go on.
Yeah, and I just have a simple one. To me, my understanding of situations that Kana puts them is that there is no saying FDC or anybody is a loser, but anybody who has managed to raise against this government and made it shake the little that would come to the dying people has already succeeded. I don't think Besigye is a loser. It started from the graduated tax. We didn't need Angel Gabriel to come and tell us that the administrative cost of looking for that tax was more than what we get from that tax, but somebody was doing it.
Well, an important point already made, even though you got cut off there. Spectrum, hello.
Mr. Moses Muyenga.
Moses, yes?
Yeah, Moses Muyenga. Moses Muyenga.
Okay, Muyenga, go on.
Bagala nnyo mwami w'ensonga nti mu malirivu obungi so mukamanzi w'ekiti wagala nnyo ekati malirivu ku nsonga yonna egenda mu maaso mukama wange era wagala nnyo abantu beene Muyenga sebo.
All right, Doctor, you can respond to these questions.
Thank you very much, and I thank all those who called in and those who expressed support and encouragement to what we are doing. Now, the gentleman who wanted to know possible successors within our party, there are very many, I can assure you. I think I would be unfair to start saying that this one is more likely than this one. We have, as I have
You might know who's closer to in the queue.
Yes, as I have told you, well, in terms of the seniority in the party, I have 4 deputy presidents.
Right.
Who are all dynamic, but it doesn't have to be from them. You know, General Muntu is the one whom I was competing with. He was not a deputy president. None of the deputy presidents offered himself. So any person, even just a card holder who does not appear to be in our leadership, can turn up and persuade our leaders to choose him to lead our party. So I think the important thing...
clear. Any card-holding member of FDC can become president.
Yes, absolutely.
All right.
So I think the important thing which we must focus on are processes that are open, transparent, and democratic. Once those processes are there, they will produce the best leader that we can have. Now, on the question of... there was a gentleman who recommended to me From Dictatorship to Democracy. I have read that
the treatise.
Yes. No, it was not. It is from the
Foundation.
The Einstein Institute.
All right.
In Boston. Okay. It's a good presentation, which precisely shows that non-violent resistance to dictatorship almost invariably succeeds. Non-violent resistance, non-violent protest, non-violent defiance. That's what it is all about. Because you see, Museveni has been working over time to say Besigye wants to use guns to fight me. No, we shall not fight him with guns. That's where he wants us to go, because he has the superiority in guns. He does not have the superiority in popular support. That's where we shall attack him. We shall call the people of Uganda whose money they are stealing, who cannot now afford even to move around because the fuel has gone so high. You know, people cannot afford transport. We shall call upon those people to withdraw their support from his regime. And that will work. And he has no medicine for it. No tanks can afford him that support.
He has promised to chew you up like a samosa.
Well,
if you try to do it.
He can try.
You're ready for that? He says he'll eat you like a cake.
I have known previous cannibals who who are not with us today. Now, the question of whether Museveni can appoint me. My problem has never been appointment to work with him. I was working with him to start with.
Right. You are his doctor.
I was not only his doctor, I was the national political commissar of the NRM.
Right.
Our contradiction is not about appointments or working together. Our contradictions is about the direction that he takes and the direction I think our country needs to take. He has taken the direction of becoming a dictator, of being the almighty in Uganda, of monopolizing all the sources of power, you know, using the military, using all the resources, natural resources, land, to marginalize Ugandans. You know, this is the problem. Using jobs, monopolizing jobs and monopolizing people who can go and get good education. That is the problem. We want a free country where all of us have equal opportunities, where our freedoms are respected, where people's decisions in an election are taken transparently and freely without members and without, you know, predict ballot papers flying left and right. That is what we want. The problem is not working with them. I don't need any job, actually. I am perfectly capable of thriving without any government job. And I have always done so. So what we require, and I will know Museveni would never hear of me, is if he changed the direction and transformed from being a dictator, in fact a ruthless dictator, to being a democrat. He would never hear of me of any complaints. We would work together on the democracy project. Now the question of, I think the others were really expressing support. Yeah. Now, Moses Mienga webale nnyo obuwagizi obwo naye njagala nkugumye ne banaffe mwenna nti embeera gye tulimu tugikutte bulungi n'obuvunaanyizibwa, era njagala mutegeere nti obwanakyemalira tebujja kuwangaalira mu ggwanga lyaffe. Tugenda kubukwata, tugenda kubutambuza, kubugoba kutuusa bwe bunaava mu ggwanga lyaffe. Era twagamba nti okulonda twakugaana, ebyavaamu twabigaana, nayefuula nti mufuzi yange ava mu kulonda okwo tetujja kumukkiriza, era tujja kukola kyonna ekisoboka mu mateeka, mu mirembe, okulaba nti obuyinza buddira bannayuganda ebintu byabwe ne bibakolera ne birema okutwalibwa abantu abatono ababyeyagaliramu olwaleero nga bannaffe tebalina gye basula, tebalina kye balya, tebalina kye bakola ki, ng'ebintu byonna abantu abatono be babyesibiddeko. Ebyo byonna tugenda kubikyusa, mugume muwulirize, munywere, muleme kutya, kubanga okutya kwe kuvaamu okufuuka abaddu.
George said you are not a loser. Obviously, he's your supporter, one of your supporters. He says you campaigned for the removal of graduated tax. There are some things that you mentioned during campaigns and they are taken on. The president could call you or one of his assistants and say, you know, you've done us a good job. We've taken some of your ideas. Come and be prime minister. For the sake of national unity, so things can work well. You can advise me from inside. Would you not take up such a job?
Absolutely not.
Why?
Because I'm not looking for a job. I'm looking for a change of system.
Well, he says, let's change it from inside. Can't be prime minister.
No. I even don't have to have a job. I don't have to be in a government for him to change the system.
But you wanted to be president, you wanted power so you can change things.
Yes, but if he can change it without me, if he wants, let him vacate and I become president and I change it. But you cannot be the dictator and you say, come and we work together when you are heading in this direction and we are heading in a different direction.
He said, come and advise me from inside.
No. He can get my free advice, no payment, nothing which I'm giving him even now. He doesn't need me to be part of his people to pay.
But your supporters could call upon you to join him so you could work things out faster.
No.
You have ideas you put in your manifesto.
No.
Let's merge the two manifestos.
Let me tell you, and let me tell all Ugandans who are out there, there is no freedom that is going to come freely.
Yes.
No negotiations with a dictator, no compromises with the dictator is going to earn you that freedom. We must simply oppose the dictator peacefully, firmly, assertively, until he capitulates. That is the only way. We shall be injured, we may be killed, but eventually we shall earn our freedom. It will not be granted to us by Museveni, and he has no business granting us our freedom. It's a freedom we are born with. He either respects it or we acquire it ourselves. Those are the only ways.
Maybe, Dr. Besigye, before we go, Otunu Lubega, they've been holding demonstrations. What do you say about those?
I support them. I support all activities that are peacefully demanding for our rights and freedoms.
Right.
We actually were working together on starting, these activities, but at the end we had some non-convergence of views on a few areas which we in FDC are consulting about, and they went ahead with what they are doing. I fully, support.
So you might have your own demos.
We may have our own. We may work together, all of us. All that is open. What is without doubt is that we are all going to be in the field demanding for change.
So we've not had the last from you yet?
Absolutely not.
Dr. Besigye, you can listen to him on our sister station, Radio 1 sister station, Akabozi, at 8 o'clock, shortly after Spectrum. Thank you for tuning in. Dr. Besigye, thank you for coming on Spectrum tonight.
Thank you, and good evening to all our listeners, and remain firm. Change is coming.
Akabozi, the Uganda station, 87.9 FM. I've been your host, Edmond, so we'll be back tomorrow. Do stay tuned for the news right now.
Spectrum on Radio 1 FM 90. Watch it on your PC or cell phone now. On your PC, go to radio1fm90.com. Choose Spectrum Video.